right, welcome to this week's episode of Thaddeus Dawson Speaks, Liberation Through Valuation, where soul meets soil. Today, Rick and I will discuss our recent trip and interviews at the National Black Growers Council at Candy Friday Farms in Timmonsville, South Carolina. It was a great experience. It was 98 degrees and full of gnats, but we survived. And today we are going to share with you some of the interviews that we conducted while we were there at Candy Fridays Farms. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to interview the host, Mr. Candy, but we will be getting him on the show here real soon. So we're going to kick off our first interview with Dr. Don Melion, the executive director of the National Black Growers Council. Rick.
Yes, hi. When Thaddeus Dawson speaks, everybody listens but me. I'm over here falling asleep. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I like that. That's kind of like when E.F. Hutton, that old E.F. Hutton commercial.
Hey, let me ask you something. I was just thinking about Candy Farms. Candy Farms. Explain the Candy, his real name, and
Well, his real name is Ronald. Ronald Friday.
Ronald Friday.
And his mother calls him Candy. So okay. His nickname is Candy. Henceforth, the name of the farm is Candy Friday Farms. But your mama call you Candy, I'm going to call you Candy. So,
well, he was a super guy, and I know we didn't get an interview done, but he was super busy. That's a big deal for a farmer or anybody who's running a business to all of a sudden do something where they're hosting people and having speakers and food and all of that. That's totally out of their realm of what they normally do. So it's a big undertaking.
Yeah, but he's also a hero.
Yep.
Mr. Candy is a veteran and had a career in the military. And so he's recently new to farming within the last 10 to 12 years, and he's made a significant impact. And to have the level of success and exposure that his farm has had, and to share best practices with the other members of the NBGC, National Black Growers Council, is really a tremendous thing. They had drone displays there. They had John Deere was there. NRCS was there. FSA was there. South Carolina State was there. Ag Extension. Clemson was there. There were a couple of feed and grain providers. It was really a great time. And what's needed in this economy with best practices, shared best practices, in order for folks to be able to survive. So we met farmers from Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, North and South Carolina. So the area was very well represented, as well as Louisiana. There was and we actually got to interview Mr. Otis Hill from Louisiana, who was a very successful farmer in and of itself, and a board member, I believe, of NBGC.
Yep. And, one of the amazing things about Mr. Candy's farm is that how successful we think about farms having to be so big today, thousands of acres, so many farmers have. And these are smaller farms, not small by any means, several hundred acres, but still that the smaller farms are making it and surviving and being able to take advantage of all the new technologies and everything. So it's great.
And the technology helps sort of level and even the playing field. That was a pretty impressive drone display that they had. That drone was pretty significant, and that is the future of farming. So that is where the intergenerational impact comes from, the younger folks learning technology. And so you can use those particular drones you can use for spraying crops, picking crops, geospatial measuring. You can also use them for herding cattle. So those are the same things that we have been teaching and emphasizing in our apprenticeship program. So again, appraising and farming are the two least diverse professions in the country. They're one and two, and they're the two most responsible for wealth preservation, wealth building, as well as food sovereignty.
Yep. It's an amazing thing to see. And it's amazing to see all of these folks coming together to, to spend a day.
And I mentioned there was some good eating going on there.
There
Only
was.
problem with the good eating, it was just too damn hot, Rick.
It was so hot. It was so hot. And by the way, when you mentioned gnats at the beginning of the show, something I didn't realize, the gnats were thick, but it wasn't just Mr. Candy's farm. I learned that the gnats are the national bird of South Carolina. So there you go.
Some of those gnats were big as birds.
They were.
But again, we survived, and it was a minor inconvenience. And
Yep.
I guess we started around 7:30 in the morning. And so by the time we got around to lunch, I was soaking wet, and they were teasing me about the Gatorade that I was supposed to be drinking and not pouring it on my shirt. And I had to explain to them that I wasn't pouring it on my shirt. I just sweated through all of my clothes.
Well, we'll just tell the folks who are watching here, they can just watch for your sweat to see just how wet you are during these interviews. It was hot. It was hot.
And then it didn't help because you wouldn't allow us to do interviews under the tent. Something about I was too dark and the lighting wasn't good under the tent.
Yeah.
So
we needed to see all that beautiful color.
Well, anyway, we've got a pretty robust August coming up. Wow. And today is the 27th. So we've got next week, we got the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in Tampa. That's August 5th through the 7th, or 6th through the 8th.
The 8th. Yeah.
And then that overlaps with the Congressional Black Caucus Institute in Tunica, Mississippi. So I guess we'll start off in Tampa at the SCLC. Then I will be leaving you, going off on my own to Tunica, Mississippi. But there's also another, while I'm in Mississippi, there's also another National Black Growers Council Farm Field Day in Mississippi as well. So I believe that's on the 7th. And then the Congressional Black Caucus is from the 6th to the 9th. And then I guess I'll be moseying my way back to Atlanta after that. And then the following week, we're back in Atlanta at the National Black Chamber of Commerce event. They'll be in Atlanta August 19th through the 22nd. And this is the 126th National Business League Conference. And the National Business League was started by Booker T. Washington in 1900. And I think the name of it at that time was the National Negro Business League. And so that has grown into a pretty significant conference. And that brings the theme of this year's conference is the Book of AI, Sacred Codes to Economic Sovereignty, where they will be focusing on AI and the automation. So that will be going on. And at that conference is also the National Alliance for Black Business. And they have a unified agenda there. And I also believe it's the National Black Mayors also come to this, as well as the National Black Chamber of Commerce, and then the Boyce Watkins Black Business School. So there is a lot of black going on in Atlanta, August 19th through the 22nd. And I have been blessed to be one of the keynote speakers. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. So we've got a pretty robust August that will be happening. as we move and prepare for our Appraisal Modernization Summit, which will be in Cincinnati, October 22nd through the 24th. And this will be the continuation of our inaugural summit that we had here in Atlanta, June 18th and 19th. And I'm really excited about going back home to Cincinnati and putting together that conference. We will have the location solidified this week, so we'll be able to put that announcement out next week. We're closing, well, we're past 90 days now with this past week, and coming up on October 22nd through the 24th.
Very good. You're going to be busy guy. Busy guy.
Yeah, but I think we are built for it. I've been working on my physical fitness, my mental acuity, and I see you slimming down there too, getting ready. I don't know if you lost all that weight in South Carolina or not.
The gnats chewed it off of me. I have no backside left. It was all there. That's what it is. Yeah.
I know you've been walking pretty robustly across the Beltline, which is not far from your house.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to walk. Put those headphones in and listen to Thaddeus Dawson Speaks. So anyway, but you had some great speakers or great interviews, people that you spoke to on this trip, which, by the way, Timmonsville was so close to the ocean. We were only about 40 minutes away from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to hit Myrtle Beach because I needed to get back home on Saturday, where my little cousin was getting married. Mr. Virgil, he got married, and it was a honor and pleasure to see him get married. And I just was thinking about when it's been maybe about almost a little bit less than 10 years ago when I dropped him off at school at Fort Valley. And so to see his maturation, to see his maturation and to see all his Fort Valley friends, as a matter of fact, and his wife, who he met at Fort Valley, and his fraternity brothers from Omega Psi Phi, they all showed up. So it was a really good time. And that was why we didn't get to make it to the beach on Saturday after fighting through the heat and the gnats.
Okay. Well, maybe we can go to the beach in Cincinnati when we're up there.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same ocean. I think the closest beach they got is Ohio River.
I've seen that. I'm not going in the Ohio River. Let me tell you. I'm not going in the Ohio River.
Well, let's get on with the interview with Dr. Don Melion, the executive director for the National Black Growers Council. And she is pretty impressive in and of herself and her career. So it was a great interview, and I really enjoyed speaking with her. Tell us about your career and all the good things you got going on.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Dawson. My name is Dawn Melion. I am the executive director of the National Black Growers Council, and our headquarters is in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I've had a very rewarding career. It began the day after I graduated from high school. I don't know if you know this or not. I went to basic training.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, I went to basic training. I was the military police. That's what I started off as. And I was in the Louisiana Army National Guard, and that's how I worked and paid my way through undergrad.
Okay.
And when I was getting my master's, I got a secondary MOS. I was a nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare specialist, and very lucky that I did not go to Operation Desert Storm. I'm from that era.
They might call you back right now. They might need
you. Yeah. Okay, I see he has jokes. But anyway, I got my undergraduate degree in plant soil sciences and got a master's both from Southern University in agriculture education. I taught middle school for a year and a half, and then had an opportunity to go to Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa, to work on my doctorate. And I got my doctorate in 1995, and then was very fortunate. Got a call right before I graduated. Hey, we have a position at Southern. Would you be interested? And I went to Southern as the assistant director of the 2501 project there. And
Now tell us what the 2501 project is.
2501 project was outreach. Well, it was a special initiative through USDA. It was housed in different agencies over its lifetime. Most recently, the Office of Partnership and Public Engagement, OPPE. But it was a special initiative for socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers.
I'd like you to talk about the new president, Willis Nelson. I'm excited about his leadership, his vision, and every time I see him and his brothers, I say, them damn Nelson boys.
There it is. When I tell you he's a native of Soundheimer, Louisiana, young man, we expect a lot of wonderful things from him. He's one of 4 or 5 brothers, and they operate about 4,000. They're the largest farmers, black farmers in Louisiana. And when I tell you, just wonderful ideas, excellent leadership, he's taking the organization into the next century. Yes.
And I love their 4th generation farmers.
Yes, I think 4th.
I think their grandfather started off with 40 acres. Dad and uncle went to 400, and then third, him and his brothers have taken between 4,000 and 6,000.
Yes, and he has his kids.
Yes.
They are the 4th generation.
Yes.
They hosted the first Model Farm Field Day for the National Black Growers Council last year in Vidalia, Louisiana, and to see the little boys fully engaged explaining what was going on was just amazing.
It's definitely a family affair, and they represent everything and the hope and the future.
If you want to meet our chair in person, we invite you to our annual meeting, December 8th through 10th in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, hey, and if you're interested in learning more about the National Black Growers Council, look us up, NBGC, National Black Growers Council, and spell it all out.com.
So we just concluded our interview with Dr. Don Melion, Executive Director of the National Black Growers Council, and we are now interviewing Mr. Isaac Bennett. Mr. Isaac Bennett is retired from Farm Credit, and we actually had the opportunity to meet in New Orleans last year at NBC. So he looks at risk, financing, and he is a farmer at heart, and he is from, I believe, Houston, Texas. So we had a really, really good interview. Even though he has retired, he still supports NBGC and its farmers with technical assistance and other things. So it was really a pleasure talking to him about the future and financing of farming and where things are going from here and the resources available to farmers, which is what these farm days are all about, making the farmers aware of the resources that are available. So without further ado, let's get on to the interview with Mr. Isaac Bennett, retired Farm Credit Service Officer. Today we're in South Carolina, Timmonsville, South Carolina, at the National Black Grower Council, and I'm interviewing Mr. Isaac Bennett. Mr. Isaac is from Texas, from South Carolina, but
Yes.
been in Texas for years, just recently retired from Farm Credit.
Yes, that's correct.
How's retirement working out? Look like you're still out here working.
Well, retirement has been good. I enjoyed a 37-year career with the Farm Credit System. Started my career in South Carolina, where I'm from originally. Moved to Texas about 23 years ago, and retired December 31st, 2024 as Chief Credit Officer at Farm Credit Bank of Texas. So obviously the National Black Growers Council is one of the organizations I worked with while I was with the Farm Credit System. And even though I'm retired, I still try to stay in contact and support their efforts.
But we had the opportunity to meet last year in New Orleans.
Yep.
And so that was in December
Sure.
25.
Yep.
Has a lot changed in your in your opinion?
Well, the ag market, obviously not being with the farm credit system any longer, but still have many colleagues and friends I talk to occasionally. Obviously, the ag community is it's a trying time, to say the least, as far as the ag community is concerned. But again, we're farmers, ranchers, we're resilient, so I'm sure we're going to persist.
This group has always been resilient and
Yes.
able to survive
Yes.
and make brick out of straw, so
That's
to
right.
speak. And this,
Yeah.
I think, forces us to reach back into
Sure.
that genetic survival
Yes.
instinct
That's right.
that we have.
Sure.
What do you see for the future?
Well, I'm encouraged again by the group, how they reach out to local communities. One of the biggest challenges is trying to get young folks involved with agriculture, maybe taking a different approach. I was, one of those, grew up on a small family farm. I thought that was something I never wanted to do again. But then when you really consider what we bring to the table, farmers and ranchers, ag-related businesses, I always say to young people, technology is going to replace a lot, but we all got to eat. That's never going to change. So we need somebody to grow it, to produce it, to harvest it, to market it, and we can be a part of that. And then, of course, the other part of it is technology is now at the forefront of agriculture. When you look at agriculture being so labor intensive, everybody's looking to cut costs, and how do you do that? It's through technology. And so for the whiz kid, there's an opportunity in agriculture if you want to be on the forefront.
So we just concluded our interview with Mr. Isaac Bennett, retired farm credit. And now we are about to do our interview with Mr. Ronald Bunton, Bunton Farms. Mr. Bunton's farm is in Kentucky, Woodburn, Kentucky, to be exact. And he does hay, soy, cotton, and hemp. And we had a really good interview with him. We're also going to be at NBGC's Farm Days in Kentucky. I believe it's Labor Day weekend, September 4th, I believe is the Farm Day. So we will be speaking and presenting there on property valuation as well as heirs property. So I'm excited about that. And that'll also put us closer to Cincinnati, Rick. So we may dip over across the river. Actually, they're a couple hours away, closer to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the Corvette plant is. So we had some good conversations with Mr. Bunton, and we also talked about hemp and his experiences with hemp and how everybody thought hemp was going to be the cash crop and what hemp actually ended up being for him. So I found that to be very educational. I still believe that hemp is going to be the crop of the future, and it's been the crop of the past because it has so many different properties available. However, the leading issue I do believe with hemp at this juncture is processing. And so until there is more avenues to process the hemp, I believe that's going to be an issue. But I think if we can get the infrastructure in for processing, then hemp will be able to be utilized more importantly moving forward. I'm here with Mr. Ronald Bunton. Mr. Bunton is a farmer in Kentucky. So we're at the National Black Growers Council Field Day in Timminsville, South Carolina. Mr. Bunton will be hosting a Farm Field Day in Kentucky in September. What's September the 4th?
September the 4th.
September 4th. What part of Kentucky is that?
We're Woodburn. We're 10 miles west of Bowling Green.
10 miles west of Bowling
35
Green.
miles north of Nashville.
Now Bowling Green, is that they still make the Corvettes in Bowling Green?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
From West Kentucky University.
Okay, all right. And so, Mr. Bunton, What do you farm, Mr. Bunn?
We can farm corn, wheat, and soybeans.
Corn, wheat, and
Have a few
soybeans.
cattle.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about NBGC and your role with NBGC.
I sit on the executive board with the National Black Growers. I've been a member for probably 15 years. I started out as a regular member, and then I got selected on the board approximately 8 years ago. And from that point on, I've been serving as a board member.
So, in Kentucky, how is the economy impacting farming right now?
Farmers are hurting due to the fact that we have low prices and we kind of had a drought last year, things like that.
So, what's the number one crop in Kentucky now?
Corn.
Corn.
Yeah. Well, actually, chickens.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about tobacco, hemp?
We grew hemp for 1 year. Didn't have much luck with it. Hemp is something that is organic. You can't put any chemicals on. You're spending most of your money chopping out crabgrass, keeping the weeds down, and then you got to irrigate it. And it doesn't require a lot of water, but it's got to be irrigated some.
So everybody thought that hemp was going to be the cash crop. It didn't turn out that way.
Well, in Kentucky, they never turned it loose. You had to go through the Department of Agriculture to get certified. And once you got certified, they would only let you grow so much of it.
Now, has that changed with the new classifications? Has that impacted the ability to grow hemp? And one of the other things that I found that hemp there was no processing. So even if you grew it, what was your market to be able to sell
The
and
problem
distribute?
was we wound up selling the bud, then everything else you had to sit on it because there wasn't a market for it.
Why is that?
And when we first started out, they bought everything, even down the root. But then when they opened it up and everybody started growing it, there wasn't no market for it.
Oh, they flooded the market.
Flooded the market.
Okay. And I thought it was supposed to be a great cover crop. I thought it had so many medicinal. It's supposed to have a multitude of uses: housing products, save trees and paper. And do you think it's something like maybe it will take off in the future when you're able to have more processing?
Well, the only thing I see that's going to help is when you can go out there and sow it. And they do sow some of it, and then they harvest it with a combine. But you can't harvest it with a rotary combine. You got to have a conventional combine.
Why is that?
Because hemp will wrap around the rotor and choke it up. Where if you got a conventional combine, you got concaves in there that's rotating forward, that's throwing it out the back. And it kind of chops it up.
So that's education for me in and of itself. So we interviewed Mr. Ronald Button with Button Family Farms. We will actually be there for the National Black Growers Council Farm Field Days on September 4th. That's Labor Day weekend. We had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Bridget Johnson, the County Executive Director for USDA FSA in Florence, South Carolina. Her and her team were there, and we talked about the importance of getting a farm number, applying for resources at the FSA. It was a really good interview and good information for the farmers to help them navigate the USDA and FSA opportunities. From the USDA for South Carolina, we have Bridget, Shannon, Jessica. Damn it, I almost got all three. I'm going to start reverse this time. Jessica, Shannon, Bridget. I got it, Rick. I got it. So we're here for a farm field day. Tell us what you all do.
So the main thing that we do is Shannon and I both work on the farm program side of FSA. So we handle things like we take care of crop certifications for producers. We send out 578 producer prints to federal crop insurance agencies. We handle all sorts of disaster programs, whether that be due to drought, too much moisture in the South, especially South Carolina, hurricanes coming through, occasional ice storms, things of that nature when we have disaster programs, especially this year with drought. we have triggered for a D3 drought status twice in Florence County, and I believe also in Darlington County, which is, one step down from D4, which would be the highest, I think. So it's severe drought in the area right now. And we handle just all sorts of programs. We help people to establish farm numbers, associate those farm numbers with any entities or anything like that they may have.
Can you tell us about the importance of farm numbers and being able to get assistance
Yes.
without a farm number?
Yes. So in our office, it is nearly impossible to proceed with any sorts of programs, whether it be on the FSA side, the farm loan side, or even NRCS, which is Natural Resources Conservation Service. When you come in, if you bring a deed from the courthouse, it has to be registered, by the way. It has to have the registered stamp on there, so that way we know for sure that it's a valid deed. You'll come in, we'll locate your farm. Sometimes some boundary changes need to be made, and so we will take care of that because it may have multiple owners, and we like to split those out. And so we will assign you a farm number. And a farm number will also have at least one, sometimes multiple tracts beneath it. And those tracts are different plots of land. So you can have various tracts under one farm number. And so once you get that done, if you're farming row crops or things of that nature, then we will let you know that you need to come in by certain deadlines in order to certify your crops to meet the annual reporting deadline. And you'll also need to submit all of that information to insurance. And then we'll also discuss some of our programs you may be interested in, depending upon what you want to do with your farming operation, whether it's row crops, vegetable crops, livestock, things of that nature.
So can you get a farm number if you have heirs property? You talked about multiple owners and multiple parcels.
So you can. So there's different rules under heir property, and so if you do not have, if there was never a will done, or if the land has never been surveyed, and through the numerous generations, it's now has numerous owners. That happens a lot in the South, not so much in other areas of the country, but especially in the South, you'll have a lot of heir property. But you will come in and just provide any sort of documentation you can in order to be able to do that. And normally it could be proof that you're paying the taxes on that property. So you would go, to the local tax assessor's office, and if it has something like, if it's still in the estate's name, it could be ABC Estate, care of a particular person's name, and that's one way of proving that you can possibly, that you're over that property and you're paying taxes for it.
Here in Timminsville, South Carolina, at NBGC Farm Field Day with Mr. Otis Hill out of Louisiana. Mr. Hill is on the board of directors. No, we're staff member. Okay, Mr. Hill is a staff member. Thank you for correcting me, so I can get all this right. And thank you for taking out the time to talk to me. We met in December at the NBGC National Meeting in New Orleans, and so we're here today in South Carolina for the Farm Field Days. Tell us about what's going on in the farming community and why outreach events like this are so important for your farmers.
Well, over the years, we have missed out on a lot of opportunities because of just a lack of knowledge and because didn't nobody tell us anything any better. So we're hoping that these field days help improve our knowledge and just give us a word for knowledge where we can take advantage of the different programs that's coming out. We don't want to be the last one to always hear about the programs.
Well, I think that's really important because once you have exposure, then you can have expansion, but you can't expand on an opportunity that you don't even know exists.
Right.
And so for years, small and limited resource communities have not had the exposure and the resources. And then when they did get a little bit of exposure and resources, it was taken away.
Right.
Right now, it just seems like a really rough time for farmers. But the small and limited resource community farmers have been able to survive much through. So just tapping back into that historical DNA of survival. Can you speak to what you see as the future?
Hopefully things get better. Hopefully it does. Maybe after this year, hopefully we get better prices. Hopefully we continue to increase yields, and just hopefully things does get better. You know, as you asked earlier about these small field days, you have an opportunity to meet different people and build relationships. That's one important thing, because money or anything can't interfere with better relationships that you can build among different people.
And I tell my students that all the time, just showing up. If you show up, when I show up, good things happen. Like I showed up, you ain't want to talk to me, but you went outside yourself and looked at things bigger than the mission.
Right.
And more importantly for NBGC, I'm hopeful for the future and what young Willis Nelson brings, and them damn Nelson boys. I think they have a vision, and they've got 4 generations of farming now. And they went grandfather at 40 acres, father and uncle at 400, and him and his brother at 4 to 6,000. Plus, I see he got his kids out there with him now. So you got 4 generations of farming, and they're right in your home state of Louisiana. Can you speak to the future and what they bring?
Well, we got to include that youth, man. Regardless, we got to include that youth, because it's the knowledge and the wealth that they have, man. Just, it's unreal, man. They pick up on things so fast, man. Things I would be just struggling with, man. The Nelsons and my son and Carlos Bailey. Boy, they pick up things so fast. So we got to include them. I don't care what nobody say. We got to have that youth if we intend to be competitive in this business.
I think you just said a mouthful, because the whole thing, like farming and appraising, is modernization. And they're the 2 least diverse professions in the country,
Right.
and the 2 most responsible for wealth building as well as food sovereignty. So when we do our heirs property training, one of the things that we emphasize is intergenerational communications. Let's talk about this at the family reunion, before the potato salad, before we do boots on the ground and the fan dance. Talk about the family business so that the young folks can understand the legacy and the importance. And like you just said, you have the wisdom, but they have the technology, and that's why the intergenerational survival is so important. That's why seeing the Nelsons and then their children involved in the farming is so important. But we got to start having those conversations early on.
That's so true. And then, you know, my generation, we can just sit on the side and kind of be the coach and let them be the players, man, and let them just kind of run the show, man, because, you know, we haven't had our time, to be honest. We have had our time, so we kind of...
But you're a little bit different in that respect, because a lot of folks don't want to pass the torch or pass the ball and feel like they're going to be here forever, and then they end up taking a lot of knowledge and not giving the next generation the opportunity to fail, while you there to offer the correction and the guidance.
Sir, I don't even want to agree with you, but you're probably right about that. I don't want to agree with you, but you're probably right. But in my situation, it's probably time. And then you don't want to stay too long. You don't want to stay too long. My dad always said, Eddie Robinson stayed too long. He was probably right. And if you stay too long, this game gonna pass you by. Mm-hmm. And then it get in a situation where if your son wanted to get into it, he can't. Mm-hmm. So you give them an opportunity why they can take advantage of it, and why they have an opportunity to do what they need to do. And at the end of the day, you're gonna be coaching, so you're gonna still receive your praise.
Absolutely. I believe you said a mouthful. I believe this is what's needed. I'm thankful to be here in South Carolina and be a part of the NBGC. And I had the opportunity to meet you in New Orleans. So you're still doing your thing. You don't look like you're old enough to retire, Mr. Hill.
Man, today, man, I'm 63 years old, man.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking out this time to talk to us. Look forward to further engaging with NBGC. And thank you.
You're welcome, man.
So, yes, again, we were able to interview Miss Bridget Johnson and her team from the FSA. And then after that, we got to interview Mr. Otis Hill, who is a farmer out of Louisiana and on the board for the National Black Growers Council. It was also Mr. Hill's birthday weekend, and we got a chance to celebrate with him at dinner and to learn more about his operation as well as plans in the future for the NBGC. I believe that these farm field days are very helpful to small and limited resource farmers as to share best practices so that they are not working in isolation, and also to learn about the latest technologies and opportunities available to them. So I believe that I'm excited to be working with NBGC as far as offering valuation services, reconsideration of value, as well as Harris property training. So it's just been a pleasure. We'll also be at their national convention in December. I believe the convention this year is in North Carolina. We will be getting and locking all these dates and actually posting them on our website as we move forward. We are working and developing our latest website at the National Appraisal Policy Resource Center. Again, I think we must be on the 10th website in the last 3 years since we started this journey. But each one has been an evolution and better than the last one. So with this one, we'll be able to include our writings, our schedule, and have places for people to find us as well as our partners. All right, Rick. So we're closing out from our 98-degree field trip that was filled with gnats and laughter and some really good eating there. We got a lot going on coming up over the next month of August. I guess we'll probably both have lost another 5 or 10 pounds by the end of August at the rate we're going.
I think so. It's all good.
Are you excited about the SCLC conference next week in Tampa?
I am. It's right on the beach. They're taking us to the beach where you didn't take us to Myrtle Beach. We're on the beach. So no, it'll be a good conference. And I'm sure they're looking forward to you being there as well. So,
well, I'm looking forward to it. It's always very informative as we meet SCLC leadership from across the country and strategize on best practices. And there's a lot going on now that a lot of people are dealing with, and giving them strategies to cope, not only survive, but also be able to thrive in this future with the political environment, navigating. Folks still have to figure out how to eat and live and pay their mortgages in these challenging times, as well as rent and keep food on the table. So we're in some really interesting times, and it's more than ever collaboration, strategy, and leadership are first and foremost. And we are excited about being able to participate and offer solutions in this space, as well as workforce development, and just from our lane and our angle.
Yep, it's an important time. We have a fork in the road. Big fork in the road. So
yeah, and people are looking for strategies and way to cope and deal, and the next opportunity for the future with jobs, collaborations, and everything else.
Yep, important time. So I will look forward to seeing you in Tampa then.
Well, absolutely, and I'm sure I'll see you before Tampa, as we probably have a couple more shows this week or next week. But we got Wednesday and Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see you, Thaddeus. There's a fork in the road every time I see you. So anyway, it was a great time in South Carolina. Good people doing good things.
All right. Well, thanks, Rick.
Until next time.
Don't get left behind.